with us. Flock with us, flock with us, flock with us.
We're alive. Zilla, this is called Flock With Us, the podcast. Well, I guess you can call it the podcast. No episode.
Right.
It just is what it is. You
That's
know,
what's up.
What do you like to be called? I know you was Zilla.
Zilla, man. That's it.
Zilla? You do many interviews?
I've done probably 2.
Yeah?
I don't do a lot of
Where
interviews
they at?
now. I'm behind the scenes. I don't even know where the fuck they're at. Was online a while ago.
Yeah? So I know you do photography.
Mm-hmm.
I know you do video production, videos, and you road manager? Is it road manager or
Tour manager.
Tour manager.
Yeah, for Yelawolf.
Yelawolf.
Yep.
And what did you do before that?
I mean, really, before that, I sold merch for Wolf. I've been his tour photographer.
Mm-hmm.
I played a lot of different roles at Wolf. VP of operations at Slumerican, which means you handle a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I played a lot of different roles at Wolf, but tour managing really works out. We work well together, so
Okay.
I've been doing it probably almost 3 years now.
Yeah? So what's your full-time
Tour manager.
tour manager?
Yeah.
As you always say. And it's really weird to see you without your phone.
It's in my pocket. Right.
Every time I see you, you're on that phone.
Got to, man.
All the time. So let me take you back to when I first met you. And there's a reason why.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't know too much about you. I know what I know. You know what I mean?
Right,
And what we've been through. So about 2010, I was doing a whole bunch of media, video stuff with
I
Jelly.
remember that very clearly.
With
yeah.
Jelly Roll, right? And EMAC had to get me on to work with Jelly Roll, and I worked with Jelly Roll before and to interview him. So they were like, "Yeah, let's go do the photo shoot for this new album." So we do and they said, "Oh, meet us on was it 3rd Avenue?
Oh, at my studio?
The Phoenix Room,
The Phoenix Room, yeah. 3rd Avenue South.
3rd Avenue South." And I was like, "Man, this is cool shit." So we go in there, and on the wall of the room that they were in, ironing clothes, and this is like a full-fledged studio, right?
Right.
Big old Phoenix, right? And then you go inside, and there's this dude in a tank top. Of course, he was in a tank top, clean shaven. You didn't have the beard then, right?
Right.
Pyramid necklace,
Yep.
right?
Man, you got a hell of a memory.
Man,
Yeah.
and I remember you just laying on the couch. And I was like, "Who is that dude?" And they were like, "That's Zilla. That's Struggles dude." Because Struggle,
I was managing Struggle at the time. Maybe not yet. But after that, before Struggle went to prison, I was managing him.
is that what it was? Mm-hmm. Okay.
We were homies at that point. I don't think we had moved on to that yet.
Not yet.
Depending on what year it was, I don't know.
So I'd met Struggle about 2008
Right.
at a studio, my homie Untouchable Records studio, JD. I met him out there. Struggle to come out there. I don't know how we met Struggle. I think he was just out in Nashville, and like one white rapper to another white rapper was just like, "Hey, you rap, I rap." You know what I mean?
Right.
And Struggle would come out to the studio, and my homie JD would put it all down for him, let him
Right.
record, and he was trying to get out of the situation he was in or whatever.
Right.
And that's how I met Struggle.
Struggle's a man. He was, I don't know what year it was that shoot happened at the studio. Do you? I don't know. I think I started managing Struggle in like 2010, because 2011 he went to jail.
Oh, okay. So it was
2012.
about 2010
Yeah.
that shoot happened at the Phoenix,
Yeah.
the Phoenix Room.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. It's way back.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember the pyramid necklace and the Phoenix Room just kind of, and something resonated with me. Like, we didn't talk much.
Right.
We didn't say much. You didn't have to. You know what I mean? You're just like a cool dude.
That's what's up. Likewise, man.
Yeah, like Zilla. And I was like, I like that dude. I
That's
didn't know who he
what's
was. I was like, why are you just chilling on the couch? Like, you were just like on your phone. No shit. Flip phone, I think.
Definitely flip phone back then.
Flip phone on your
Yeah.
couch making shit happen. And we just kind of did our thing there and went on our way.
Right.
And then the next time I see you, DJ Paul, Yelawolf, and DJ Clever.
At that video shoot.
They did a video shoot there.
That's right.
I don't know what song that was. I've never seen it to this
I think
day.
it was called Get Straight.
Was it?
I believe it was called Get Straight. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it came out.
Yeah, but we shot the cover for Concrete then too.
I remember
We did
that.
the hearse. Remember you guys brought the hearse?
Yeah, that was crazy. That was a dope day.
Yeah. So that's the second time I met you, and then I was like trying to get in. Like this dude is everywhere,
Yeah,
you know. And I didn't know. I just knew who Yelawolf was.
Right.
Because in 2000,
just found out about him.
Right.
Right.
And about 2010 or 11, he did that show at Fat Caps.
Right.
First time anyone ever seen dude to that caliber in Nashville. Which is an amazing show. Were you there? You don't remember that?
No, I hadn't linked back up with him yet. I remember that show.
Yeah.
But no, I wasn't there. The first time me and Wolf linked back up was when he played the Mercy Lounge.
Oh, over in Cannery or Mercy?
Might have been the Cannery.
Okay.
You know, in that building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So I was not at Fat Caps, no.
Yeah, that Fat Caps one is amazing, though.
Yeah, I saw a lot of footage, and that shit looked dope, man.
Yeah, I had the best audio and footage of that night.
You did?
Yeah. And that's when I met. That's when I met Yelawolf.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of pissed him off a little bit.
What'd you do?
Well, it was like my first time covering like a concert event for someone
Right.
of that, and I didn't know who he was, so
Right.
I didn't, no clue. He was just the tall hip hop
Right.
skater dude, just cool, laid back, and they were closing the doors. They didn't want us to come back in. You know what I mean?
To Fat Caps?
Yeah, because
Okay.
after the concert, like, everybody get out. He was just gonna chill.
Right.
And I was with Concrete, and Brian Deese. There was like, oh man, we didn't get the interview, because we were outside doing Ritz. I didn't know what Ritz was either.
Right.
But dude rocked it.
Hell yeah. No,
And they're like,
Ritz
we
is
Yelawolf.
beast.
And I was like, well, let's just go in and get it. And they were like, nah. And I was like, no, fuck that. We went in there and pushed, let us in, went in there. We got to film the interview. So we did the interview with him, and it took about 45 minutes of Brian Deese just bringing up old stuff and good content. Wolf was telling everything.
That's what's up.
Yeah, about, going to Alabama, coming back, going to school. I got kicked out of school,
See, that's where that persistence goes, man.
Yeah.
It goes a long way.
Yeah, so I said, they said, hey, get a drop for Fat Caps.
Right.
From Yelawolf. I said, okay. I said, Yelawolf, can I get a drop for Fat Caps? Yeah, Fat Caps, blah, blah, blah. And then Concrete said, hey, get a drop for Concrete. And I was like, hey, can I get a drop for Concrete? Yeah, blah, 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 blah. And then someone said, hey, get a drop for him. And I was like, man, when am I going to get my drop? You know what I mean? Because I always try to do mine after their work.
Right.
So I don't interfere with anyone's work.
Right.
So he's like, he's doing all the shots, I'm doing all this. And I'm like, hey, just one more. And he was like that. And then he started to walk away, and I was like, yo, can you do mine? And he was like, God damn.
I can see Wolf doing
Yeah,
that.
but not like in a, not a fuck you manner. Just
Right,
like,
right,
oh,
right.
come
He
on.
was just over it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he just did a show. He rocked it. It was hot as shit in there.
Yeah.
You know Wolf was down.
Hell yeah.
And he called me the bearded joerilla.
He called you the bearded Joe?
Yep. He was like, we're here with the beardedjoerilla.com. And then I was like, okay, man, that's all I need. And he walked away.
That's funny shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So, so from that day since, I linked up with you. Anytime I need anything, anytime I need access to Slumfest or anything.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird. I don't know why you do that. Why do you do that?
Man, I thought you was a cool dude too. You know what I mean? We're all connected in some way. It's a small city.
Yeah.
Thought you was always cool to me. So I know how it is to need the access and shit.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
for sure. So, what about before? So this one is more about Zilla.
Mm-hmm.
So who is Zilla? Like, where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Nashville. I originally came from Delaware, which is, for people who don't know where Delaware is, it's about 20 minutes out of Philadelphia. You know what I mean? They say Delaware. But, so yeah, I grew up in Nashville, and then I did graffiti. That was my thing when we were young.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the name Ounze. And then later years, being more in the street, Ounze turned into Ounze Zilla. OZ, Ounze Zilla. You know
Oh,
what I
okay.
mean? And just Zilla. So, yeah, man.
So that's what in Nashville. So you ended up in Nashville?
Yeah, I mean, mostly
at
Antioch.
what age? Antioch.
I was like 9 years old when I got here.
Yeah.
Moved away when I was, I don't know how much of this content you need, you don't need, whatever, but
If it's about Zilla, I need it.
got it. Let's get it. So about 20, let me see. When I was 16, I moved back to Delaware and got diagnosed with something called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which
What?
is a syndrome that attacks the myelin sheath on your nerves, causing you to be completely paralyzed. So I had to learn how to walk again, talk again, do everything all over again.
Damn.
Yeah, that was a hell of a journey. And then at the time, I was 16. I just told my parents, I was like, the only thing I want to do is move back to Nashville. Like, if I live through this shit, I want to move back to Nashville.
Right.
So, so that's what they said we'll do, you know. And I stayed in the hospital for about a month, and I had to go through ICU, step down, and rehab, and literally learn how to walk again, learn how to get dressed again, all that type of shit. And that gave me a different appreciation, and I think put some fuel on the motivation. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
made me more motivated. Put it that way.
And what
Really.
caused that?
In younger people, apparently, they don't really know exactly what causes it, but the causes are flu shots, a bacteria in chicken called Campylobacter,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't know what else. But I hadn't got it from the chicken, and I hadn't had a flu shot, so they don't know how I got it. But your chances of getting it are 1 in 100,000. You got a better chance of getting struck by lightning. Yeah, so that was like a big milestone in my story. You know what I mean? And then, so we moved back down here. Graffiti was something I was into for a long time. Like, that's kind of how I got connected with everybody in the city. Through graffiti.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a period of...
What year was that, you think? Around
graffiti
about?
was probably, let's see, 98 to 2005, maybe.
Oh, so you were the guys terrorizing the
Oh,
city.
man, we were killing it. Yeah, if you look up, one crew I was running with back then was AM7. And they're a huge crew out of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
And another one that's still relevant in Nashville is IA, which my homie Zoo is kind of like the leader of that now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shit's everywhere. And yeah, man, that was crazy times.
So it was you guys were terrorizing.
Yeah,
Yeah, I had a couple homies that ran with the USC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a guy named Click, and then a guy
I
named
knew Click.
Alien. Yeah.
I knew Click.
You
I
know
didn't
Click?
know Alien. I knew Click well though. Click. Well, I say well. I knew him like we knew each other and we were cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's a tattoo artist too, right?
That's right.
Nah, Click was the man.
Yeah, Click.
I think he did characters or some shit, right?
Rudy Sanchez.
Hey, he was a beast, man. If you
Click.
see him, tell him I said what's up. He'll know me as Ounze. You know what I'm
Ounce.
saying?
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird because we worked at the movie theater in my hometown.
For real?
Yeah, in Columbia. I'm from Spring Hill, but you know
I remember him being from Columbia.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and he came from California, South Cal,
Mm-hmm.
and he brought the USC with him.
Nah, he was a beast, man. I definitely remember him.
Yeah, and then my homie Alien, he had right over the old Hickory ramp.
Mm-hmm.
He hit that whole brick wall right on that
For real?
off ramp. Yeah, huge.
That's
But they
what's up.
got everything. There's nothing that he did not touch.
Damn.
Yeah.
Me and Zoo went to New York one year. I can't even remember what year. We ended up like on the cover of the New York Daily News and doing some big production with Poem and these fucking legends, and then did the 2 biggest illegal pieces in Queens. Like when the train rolled by, you could see the pieces over the train.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
What's
got a
that
picture
like?
of it somewhere. It was crazy. The people who lived there who went with us,
Mm-hmm.
one of them didn't do it at all, and the other one said we were crazy. He did half of his. He was like, "Y'all are crazy. You're definitely gonna get arrested." We're like, "Man, fuck it." We jacked a ladder on the way down, like off some, I don't even know where the hell it was, but we jacked a ladder so we could get up high enough, and painted this shit with rollers and bucket paint.
Right.
It was a good time.
So you were that guy.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's a dying art. Nobody really knows about it.
Yeah, man.
Much nowadays.
There's still some guys out there really killing it, like Revoke. Revoke is, I don't know if you heard of him or not.
I've
He's
seen
huge. Yeah, Revoke.
I only know like a few of the guys,
Mhm.
and Brian Deese.
Brian's a beast. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a
Rex
muralist.
too?
Yeah. I know. Ask Rex. I know
Yeah,
Rex
ask
from way
Rex.
back. I know Rex. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
he
and
had Southern Fried Funk. We used to break dance in the back.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. I was a little
wow.
kid, man. They used to have this thing. I want to say like maybe like Friday, Saturday nights or something. Like
Mhm.
Brian, this dude, Massive, Tax, all these different guys would get together and break dance. Audie, you know who Audie is?
Yeah, I know Audie. I met all the
Audie was a beast. Yeah, they would all break dance in the back.
for real.
And I go down there and try to get my windmill on and all that type of shit. I don't think I ever got real good at it, but it was cool.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you've been in the scene for a while.
Yeah, man.
Wow. So how did you? So just graffiti, meeting people.
Yeah, and then I went through a period. I can openly talk about it now because it's on. People are aware, and I don't fuck with it anymore. But I used to grow a lot of weed.
Grow?
grow a lot of weed
Okay.
back in the day. So that was a way that I was able to, before doing photography and having some legitimate reason to be in the room,
Mm-hmm.
the weed was my reason to be in the room. You know what I mean?
You were the weed guy.
Yeah, but not just the weed guy, like the best weed the city's ever seen guy. You know what I mean?
You
Like,
brought good. It wasn't that
it wasn't
that
no
brick that-
all right, fuck no.
because back in like '90s, 2000s, all we had. Well, I don't know about Nashville, but all we had was like that brick.
I remember what you're talking about, them VCR tapes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Mexican brick weed.
Yep.
No. This was like, I don't even know what year. I can't even quote the years, but this was like that shit in a jar. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about the best of the best of the best. But yeah, that allowed me to get into the room with a lot of people.
How did you get into that?
Oh, man. I had a friend of... Damn, that's an interesting question. You're pretty good at this interview shit.
Am I?
Yeah, because I don't know what the hell to say because I'm always behind the scenes. So I'm like relying on you to say, hey, so what about this?
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so...
Thank you.
yeah, no, you're good at it, man. I can tell you've been doing this. So that's an interesting point is I had a friend of mine. I won't say his name because, you know, he's not sitting here to give me permission to do so. But he invited me to go with him to Seattle, where at the time, I don't believe it was legal yet. I'm 90% sure it was not legal
I'm
yet.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't.
Yeah, but there was a dude up there, and this was his alias, so it's okay to say. His
Okay.
name was Charles Diamond,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was his alias. And this dude had, you know, he grew this shit all over the city, man. And I mean, he was a monster. He like raised his own cattle and ate his own beef, and he was just a beast. And like, I aspired to be like this guy for some fucked up reason. You know what I mean? He wasn't the type of dude you want to aspire to be like. But anyway, took a page out of his book and, you know, kind of moved on from there.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is like it's starting to sound like the coolest movie ever about to be
man.
made.
Yeah. Nah.
So you learned from him everything?
Yeah, it was crazy because I drove like, I don't know, 2 days and ended up in Oklahoma. And the guy who I was with told me, at the time I didn't have much money. The guy who I was with was like, oh man, I'll cover all gas. I'll do this, do that, you know, fix the brakes on the way there, all this shit.
Yeah.
So we get out to Oklahoma, and every time I wake him up for gas, he get mad at me, right? Like get real mad, like throwing fits and banging the window and shit. And I was like, so and he couldn't drive for shit. He drove like, you know, like he was retarded or something. But so anyway, we get to the gas station in Oklahoma, and he was, I looked over at him. He was asleep in the car. The fucking tank was on E. I was like, man, fuck this motherfucker, man. I got out the car, pumped the gas. You know what I'm saying? Filled the tank up, went in, bought a postcard to send to my mom, and I swear to God, it was an Indian on the back of a horse, and it said "End of the road," right?
Right.
That was on the postcard. So then I stole the gas, drove off. I remember I had on a neon green Outcast shirt, you know, big giant like like bubble down camouflage jacket or some shit.
Right.
Man, about 15 minutes down the road, 2 cops come up, whatever, pull us over. I ended up going to jail for like a week in Oklahoma, where there was like one Nazi watching over the jail, and like people had been in there for like a year with no idea what the fuck's going on. And yeah, it was insane, man. And when I got out, they just changed some rule. Like I'm talking about, we walked to the jail with like striped black and white fucking jail suits on,
Like the oversized
shackled
jumpsuit.
to people who were doing 20 years. And I'm like, man, I just stole gas. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck they got me in here doing this for? So anyway, we got out. I got out, met back up with my boy, got to Seattle, met with Charles Diamond, and yeah, it was something else.
What kind of car was it?
It was an older Cadillac, a Cadillac Seville, all black with the black leather and yeah.
Really? So that's what you drove?
Yeah, and then I got up there, and I remember pulling up to the house the first time I'd ever met this dude, Diamond, and there was a state trooper just looking at me. He probably wasn't looking at me that crazy. I just hadn't slept in days. He was just looking at me. I was like, fuck. I go in, and the door opens, and I meet this big, giant black dude with sunglasses on in a grow room trimming plants looking at me like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Just,
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, man, what's up? And he's like, is this a motherfucker that got locked up? You know what I mean, dude? It was like that. It was crazy.
This is literally the opening scene to the movie. It's great. I can see it.
Yeah.
I can completely see it.
Yeah.
Stealing gas.
Yeah, man, it was crazy.
So what did you just, they gave you equipment, they sent you back?
Oh, they didn't give me nothing. I just kind of like,
Just learning.
Stayed up there for a couple weeks, and had back in that period of time, I was actually trying to make beats, and I had a Korg Triton with the floppy disk. You remember those?
The silver one?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Those are some dope keyboards.
Yeah, so I had that and was like making beats in the hotel between going and learning how this dude did what he did. And yeah, he was kind of like a mix of like a mob dude and a hippie, you know what I mean? Like one type of dude you want to play with.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was like, all right, man, I don't want nothing to do with this because this dude's obviously going to end up in prison before too long. So let me get out of here. He's too loose cannon. So I ended up coming back to Nashville and just did my own thing.
You just kind of piece together your own stuff? Because there's only maybe one place in Nashville that sold grow stuff.
All seasons, baby.
That it? Okay. They put it off as hydroponic.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You can grow anything. You know, you can grow fucking green peppers if you want to. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Well, that's like walking into a smoke shop and they're like, oh, these pipes, glass, they're for tobacco. And no one's using them for tobacco.
Right.
Like, that's why they sell the little scales at
Right.
New Life.
Or the fucking brass knuckle paperweights.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's the belt buckle? Do you see the
there
belt
you
buckle
go.
one?
There you go,
Yeah.
the belt buckle.
Anything disguised is what it's supposed to be used for. It's
Right.
probably- yeah. Like
Exactly.
the cane swords. Do you remember those?
Yeah, I do.
I remember when I was like 8, 9, my mom got me a cane sword. Right?
Yeah, I remember
8 or
that.
9, or a pen with a knife in it. They were my parents. I don't know. They were just. I guess they trusted me, but I had all types of weapons.
Probably switchblades and Chinese stars and
Yep.
shit.
The real ones, the real metal ones.
Yeah.
I had the Indiana Jones whip.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so I was out just like whipping stuff, trying to swing across.
Remember those big slingshots you could get at like Kmart?
Yeah, is it the one with the brace?
Yeah. You can really fuck some shit up with that.
Those things are powerful.
Yeah, man. That was good shit.
Yeah, we had dangerous lives as kids.
Funner times, man. No social media. I'm glad I didn't have social media. I would have done something stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did a bunch of stupid stuff.
Yeah, but you
Right.
didn't put it on social media though.
No, but if I could have, I would have.
You would have.
Yeah.
And
But
then
I've
regretted
been
it.
recording videos since 95.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 95, 96. I made my own high school yearbook.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the school that I went to Spring Hill High School. And, I just never did homework. The school wasn't for me.
I'm right there with you.
Right? Like, I don't know if, I guess I want to say, like, I was above it, too intelligent, but I was just, public school just is public school.
Right.
Like, they teach you just to socialize, and that's it.
Right.
Or how to get away. Not that, So I was, like, bored. I always liked doing photos. I took pictures. So I bought me a camera. It was like a $2,000 camera back in 95. With the flip-out screen. That was unheard of.
Shit, $2,000 camera in '95. It's a hell of a camera.
Yeah.
What was it?
Sony Handycam.
Damn.
Yeah. Had the eyepiece flipped
$2,000?
up. It was like $2,000. I bought it at
So it's
Sears.
for video.
Yeah, for video only. High 8.
Wow.
Yeah, with the flip screen. The screen, nobody had that screen then. So that's what I took to school with me every day.
Hell
Every day, all day. And I was like, man, I like it. No one ever taught me about that video. So I'm teaching myself. So I went to the video team and the teacher, and I was like, yo, I want to join the video club. The video club, right? Because you ever heard of, Saturn, right? The plant? Yeah, they had donated a bunch of editing equipment to the school. I know, it was like a big board and the little handle, and I don't know any of this shit does, but I just wanted to be a part of it. So I was like, yo, I want to join the video club. And they were like, nope. And I was
They
like,
wouldn't let you join?
nope. I was like, well, why not? And they're like, we don't need that. Need what? Like, you don't want to be on here. And I was like, no, I really want to learn this. I want to, nope.
What the fuck? That's
Right.
crazy.
Yeah. So
What
I got
school was that?
Spring Hill.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So got my own camera, started doing my own thing, filming. I didn't bring books. I brought a camera. That's all I brought.
Hell yeah.
Yep. And then I put up my own video yearbook with all the fights. It looked like a early Jackass.
So you had the fight. You had like the bad version of the yearbook.
Yeah, I had
That's what's up.
because they did the regular
regular
version,
yearbook,
all
yeah.
the nerdy
Yeah, all
stuff,
the fights and shit.
yeah, like the cruise,
Yeah.
the class cruise, which they didn't. I wasn't allowed to go on either. They had like pictures of drama, which I tried to join the drama club, and the teacher wouldn't let me.
The
And-
fuck? Why
yeah.
were they hard on you like that?
That's just how they treat me.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I tried to do it, but so I did that. So mine had all the fights and all the parties, and making fun of the teachers acting, goofy, and us going to the grade books. It's hilarious. I still got it.
That's good shit, man.
Yeah, so I got those and I sold them $15 a piece, and I made $400 or $500.
So people were buying them.
Oh yeah, everybody wanted my copy. Nobody wanted the other copy.
That's what's up, man. I had an interesting story about how I got my first camera. I mean, obviously having camera as a kid or whatever, different ones.
Yeah.
Obviously, like doing graffiti, always had something like, a little handy cam or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when I got into photography, I had a Cadillac Sedan DeVille, 72, gold Cadillac Sedan DeVille. And I was managing a photographer at the time, right? And I didn't know how to I'd sit there with him playing with Lightroom for hours and never paid attention. Didn't know how to work none of that. And then he ended up moving on, going on tour with some big artists and doing really well. But we lost contact.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I managed Phoenix Room Days. I managed like 2 or 3 other artists. And I needed someone. He would always in exchange for what I would do for him, because he wasn't making a killing right then.
Right.
He would photograph all my artists, help me put together all the packet. He was that guy. And when I lost him, when he went on tour and was killing it, it was like a good loss, successful celebration loss. But I ended up trading a Cadillac for a Canon 7D.
What?
Yeah, and just
the 72 Cadillac.
72 Cadillac. Yeah, I mean it was only worth a couple grand or something.
Right.
But yeah, man, bought that and then actually I bought it just out of necessity, and then started loving doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then Wolf gave me some cool opportunities, like coming on tour and doing that. I was like, all right. I mean, I slept with the camera on tour. Like I'm talking about when they come into the bus, I'm creeping out the thing like this, taking pictures of it, because I had more access than anybody else who was a photographer at the time. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I kept it on me, and then started to love it.
And you just kind of grew on you.
Yeah, man. Now shit, that's all I want to do is shoot shit.
That's it.
Yeah, back when we first met, I wouldn't know how to turn the camera on.
Yeah, you were just running a big facility.
Just running a studio and managing a couple of artists and shit, trying to get in,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So I take it back. That's my fault. We jumped off there. So you're the weed grower, right? You start growing the best weed in Nashville.
Yeah.
We'll call it that.
Yeah, you could ask around too. That's
Really?
I'm not even just. I don't know if Brian would know, because I don't know if I messed with him right then when we were younger. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are aware of that for sure.
So what after that? What do you do after you grow the best weed and you're doing graffiti?
And I stopped doing graffiti by that point, because you could only break so many laws before. You know what I mean? I was like.
Yeah, and Nashville's not that big a place to where it's constant, like in LA or New York. It's like you only have certain spots.
Right. So after that, that was kind of the graffiti was when they called me Ounze. The hustling stuff was when they called me Zilla. You know what I mean? So that's how I always know if I meet somebody or if I see somebody by what they call me. If I don't remember their face, I'll know where they know me from.
Ounze Zilla.
Yeah.
Right.
And then man, after that, at that time, I was making a transition, trying to run the studio and trying to hustle and play that whole game. You know what I mean? And then,
how'd you get into the studio music stuff? Was
man,
all that growing from growing?
Who knows, man? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that.
Without incriminating you?
I know I had a couple friends involved, and people were paying rent. I was, I had artists living in the studio and shit, charging them rent. So I had it where it was pretty much self-sufficient. It definitely wasn't making a killing, but it was self-sufficient.
Right.
But
so you wanted to open a studio for that?
Yeah,
You were always into music, or you just knew people who needed it?
At one point, I thought I was an artist.
Oh, did you rap?
Yeah.
You did? You used to rap?
Way back, man.
Is there Ounze Zilla CDs or cassette tapes somewhere?
Damn where, yeah, somewhere.
Who did you rap with?
Man, I mean, shit, all the artists I managed, and then shit, me, Wolf, and them did some shit. Struggle, There was just a period of time when I fucked with it, and then once I linked up with Wolf, and that's an interesting story how that happened. But once I linked up with him, I realized he was cold-blooded. You know what I'm saying? And I just figured out my own strengths. You know what I'm saying? And figured out I would never be the best in the world at that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I knew I was good with the business. I knew I was good with people. You know, I knew that was a strength of mine, was business. So I decided to completely, not do it here and there, not do it as a hobby, completely leave it alone. You know what I mean? Because I can't have dinner with someone like Paul Rosenberg. You know what I mean? And be like, yeah, you know, all this business and him take me serious, and be like, you know, then you got a mixtape too.
Oh yeah. Oh, and also I rap.
Yeah,
So if there's any extra room, you didn't want to be that dude.
Fuck no,
Right.
because I can't take nobody like that serious. You know what I mean? Like, it's one or the other. Like, what are you doing managing an artist if you're trying to rap too? Obviously, you're not very successful.
Right.
You know, so I figured out my strengths and realized I was surrounded by people who were killing it in that lane.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I started doing more business than anything.
So Phoenix Room, so you started just booking it out.
I started, like I said, I was doing the artist thing for a while, making beats, doing the whole thing, you know, trying to find my place.
Right.
And then got the studio.
That's just the nature of what Nashville went through.
Exactly.
They went through, it was a slow process, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, we were kind of behind the times,
Right.
but it still happened at the time.
Right.
So, like, just like everyone else, because I used to produce
Right.
back in the day.
I imagine you
Right.
did.
DJ.
Yeah.
I used to DJ. I do all the house parties. Spring Hill.
dope.
Like, I'm Spring Hill legend. You already know that.
That's dope. That's dope.
And then
Yeah.
beats. So yeah, just like everyone else in this little Middle Tennessee thing.
Yeah, just get involved in the music somehow and then open the studio. And it took me a while before I realized that wasn't what I wanted. I mean, I would still have the studio.
Right.
It wasn't that I didn't want the studio, because that made sense. It was a cool spot to meet at, and, you know, had little meeting rooms and shit. But the way that I got into business was I had an artist from Atlanta who was, at one point, he was doing something big with Brian Barber and all these other people. And I think he was more or less trying to get free studio time and kind of, you know, flatter me in the sense of, hey, man, would you manage me? You know, and it kind of on some slick shit. You know, and I was like, hell yeah, I'll manage you. I never really thought about that, but I'll manage you.
Yeah.
And then I went to my partner who worked at Universal Records, and he didn't know I was going to go this route. And had some contracts drawn up, like nothing off the internet or nothing. You know, paid the attorney to make some contracts and went back at him and gave him the contract, did it the proper way, and started managing them. And that really didn't provide any fruit. You know what I mean? Nothing came out of that.
Sure.
But it made me realize that was the lane I wanted to move forward in. So I'm thankful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I did that. And in the whole meantime, I was trying to hustle and trying to have the studio and trying to figure out what I wanted to do in the business and what made sense and what actually could make money so you could leave the other shit alone.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what all the smart people do.
Yeah, man. Sometimes it just takes more time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how did you meet Struggle? Being Struggle's manager. Only reason I asked Struggle, and I don't know any of the artists, but this is like all the path that I've seen and been on. So
Struggle. Man, where the hell we met? We met in the green room at that show that I linked back up with Wolf at.
Mm-hmm.
And
this is Atlanta?
No, this is Nashville.
Oh, the Cannery.
Yeah, I was managing a photographer at the time, and he had got passes to go photograph an artist named Yelawolf. And at the time, I knew Wolf as Coma. That was his name.
Coma?
Coma. Yeah.
I've never heard Coma. Was
Well,
that
Coma
his tag
was
name
his
or
graffiti
his B-boy?
name. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And you know all that street name. I mean, he was Coma. That's what I called him. He called me out. I called him Coma.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
So when the guy I was managing said, I'm going to shoot this artist named Yelawolf, I didn't know who it was at the time. But I was like, okay, cool. Shit, I'm not doing nothing tonight. I'll roll with you.
Sure.
And he had legitimate passes from the Tennessee and was supposed to be there. We get to whatever it is, the Cannery or the Mercury Ball or whatever, somewhere in that building. And they were going hard on us, man. Kind of like you were talking about. They were like, nope, can't do it. You can't come back here. I don't care about your past, all this shit. And I was like, look, I know this dude. I just found out. I looked at him on the cover. I was doing my research once Dustin had told me who he was shooting. I was like, Yelawolf, looked him up. I was like, man, it looks just like my homeboy. Like, I mean, a whole lot like him. Like, if it ain't him, it's some crazy shit. And I ain't seen him in some years because he moved to Alabama. He was living here for a little while. And so I looked him up, Wikipedia or whatever, realized it was my friend. And I mean, we were really, really, really good friends. You know what I mean? Like, I knew if he saw me, he'd know me. And I told them, I was like, look, If he tells me fuck off, I'm out of here. But I'm not leaving until I at least see my boy. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we go back there, and man, it was nothing but love, man. I mean, he was like, "Oh shit, Ounze, what the fuck?"
Ounze. He called you Ounze.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like, what the fuck? Where you been at this and that? And I was like, "Man, dude, you're killing it right now." And we chilled or whatever, and he introduced me to Struggle there, and I had definitely heard of Struggle. Knew, through Nashville's small city.
Right.
So
Right.
I'd heard of him. I never really met him, I don't think. Then a couple more times, and me and Struggle chilled a little bit, and then I ended up hitting him up, man, and started managing him.
Right.
And I mean, Struggle's been 1,000 since the day I met him. I mean, kept in contact with him the whole time he was locked up.
Yeah, you guys did some good shit while he was.
Yeah, man.
Not saying like good that he was locked up and you did it, but
No,
y'all pulled some slick shit.
I got
and
the
everyone knows about it.
yeah, the Tennessean took them in to interview him in the jail one time, and then worked out through a contact my mom had from the Tennessee Sheriff's Association, where she used to be the executive director.
Mm-hmm.
This lady who was like the PR for the jail or something, and I can't remember her name, but she was on the news. But she linked me with her. I talked to her, man, for like 2 weeks. It was like, I need to get in there, shoot a documentary footage. We ended up lining it up, me and a couple other guys, and man, got in there with 3 cameras and filmed that Black Curtains. We filmed the struggle scenes in jail.
Right.
In the last couple minutes of the documentary footage. You know what I mean? It was like, you mind if we get on to recite this couple verses real quick? Maybe it'd be cool in the beginning. Like, no, it's the coolest thing we've ever had at this jail.
They were cool with it?
Right at that moment.
Yeah, cool, I mean, at the moment, they're cool with it.
She was super cool with it.
In hindsight, they're like, yeah, we didn't approve that.
Did you see the news story?
I did.
Man, this shit made it for like a 7-minute news clip.
Yeah, I know. I think I was talking to you at that time.
Yeah.
We were talking about doing like an interview or getting some artists or something. Yeah.
Yeah, this shit was, man, it was dope. I mean, Double XL reached out and did a piece on him after that. It was really good for him, man.
So you managed him. You got him to where? You got him to where he is?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, we were just, this is before he went to jail.
Okay, right before.
So, I mean, I was just doing, Struggle's taking off since he got home, man. He's, super killing it right now.
Yeah, he found his new little niche.
Yeah, no, he's killing it,
and,
man.
he's taking off with whatever he's doing.
Yeah, and I mean, it just, when he came home, he didn't really need it right then, and I was tied up, but I mean, that's like my brother, man. Struggle's super close with Struggle, but
yeah, he's always been a nice guy to me.
Yeah.
Always super nice. He was, remember the first time I met him, he said something about Waylon Jennings' grandson. I was like, whatever. Like, why would you believe that? Why would, because I didn't know him.
Right.
I didn't know him from anything.
Right.
I'm not from Nashville.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm just a country Spring Hill boy.
Right.
And so just like whatever, It's like, yeah, we can get the clearance for a good old boy. Yeah, we can do a rap song. And I was like, I'll make the beat. I did some beats for him when we recorded them out there and stuff like that. But yeah, it was like Wayne. I was like, that's cool, whatever.
That's what's
That's
up,
back
man.
when he was doing like just that rap, that
trap stuff.
That that white boy, that Nashville white boy, is a different breed.
Ain't nothing like it, man.
No, it's really weird. I don't think it. I think Wolf even mentioned it. He was like, yeah, the Nashville white boy is something that needs to be documented. And it shows. It literally shows.
Yeah.
Nashville white boys are a different breed.
Different breed for real, for real.
Why does no one care?
Right, it's crazy.
Why does nobody care?
Right.
I mean, come on. You got Jelly Roll. You got Struggle, Yelawolf.
Mm-hmm.
You got
There's
Zilla.
some more tucked off. Nah, you ain't got Zilla.
Zilla, the old Zilla. Yeah, you had to do Worm.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many white boys that rap and on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like overlooked. Just like the whole scene was overlooked. Nobody gave
for
a shit
a long
about.
time. But shit, Nashville's getting some attention these days.
Now, who do you think gave that attention to Nashville? Not don't favoritism like Wolf,
right.
but who gave that attention to Nashville? Was it Stack? Was it Pistol? Was it Fresh?
I would say it definitely wasn't Stack. I mean, he had his little. I hate to say it.
Oh no problem.
I mean, shit, probably a mix of Jelly and Yelawolf, really. You know what I mean? I mean, I know, people feel how they feel about Buck, but I mean, he definitely gave Nashville some attention for a period of time.
Attention.
Right, but he didn't really open any doors for anybody or nothing like that.
Which, I mean, obviously he couldn't.
Right.
You know, because he just wasn't allowed to. Like
Right.
he just never. I don't think he just ever said, "I can't do that." He would
Right.
just kind of, you know, bullshit everybody around. Not saying he's bullshit, but I'm just saying, like, he'd be like, "Yeah, we're gonna do Cashville Records,
Right.
Unit South," and you know, obviously the powers above are just like, nah.
Right. Nah, all the way.
Yeah.
And he wasn't, you know, whatever. He didn't have it figured out. But I would say on that side, man, definitely Jelly Roll, Yelawolf, and Struggle.
Yeah.
You know, especially more lately. You know what I mean?
Yeah, real lately. And
Yeah.
it's weird because they're doing like it looked like it was becoming country rap,
Right.
but they kind of made it into something else.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when Wolf did it, when Wolf made that transition, not really transition, but you know, from people looking outside.
When he dipped in and, you know, tipped his hat to that style.
Yeah,
He
it turned
killed
into
it.
something else. I don't even know what it was. And I
Right.
think they tried to call it country rap or hip hop, and he was just like, you know, don't say that shit.
Nah, that hip hop shit is like, I don't know. I think it's like a derogatory term.
Yeah, that's the shit. Like
Some people embrace it.
Smo did it, and he was like, yeah, this is hip hop. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
but that's Smo.
Right.
That's his thing. It's nothing close to. I don't even know what I don't know what you call what Yelawolf are doing. It's just music, good fucking music.
Outlaw hip hop, rock and roll.
There you go. Mixture. Can you put it into one word?
Yep, that's it. Outlaw hip hop, rock and roll. But yeah, man.
So he did struggle. Struggle went away. He got locked up. How long did he go away for?
I think he ended up. I mean, he was facing like. At one point, he was facing like 40 years. I remember a bunch of us went down to court. I believe in Memphis. I could be wrong, but man, he was facing like 40 years at one point. But he ended up doing 4, and he might still be on parole. I don't know. But
As a matter of fact, one of the last times I seen him, we were shooting the video for Jelly Roll. It was me, Alexander King, Emac, Jelly Roll Struggle, the 7 days. Do you remember that? I don't know if you remember that one.
7 days. I do remember that.
7 days. And he came through. And it was like, hey,
Struggle did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just got the Interstate 40 tattoo on his chest.
Oh, that's way back.
Yeah. And we were at the barbershop, and we had a couple minutes talking. Hey, you
I
good?
remember that. Did I come with him?
Yeah, I think you did come with him.
Right off Bell Road.
Right off Bell Road at the
Yeah,
barbershop.
okay, I remember
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that.
And I was like, "You good?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm good, man." He said, "I think I'm facing some, trouble or whatever. So
Right.
I hope I can get to go away." And that's the last time I saw him.
Damn. So you hadn't seen him since then?
No, I've seen him since then.
Now, since
yeah,
he's got
at
out. Yeah,
Slumfest.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
last time I seen him was Slumfest. He had just got out, and y'all did Slumfest
Right.
at the Harley place. Second year.
Mm-hmm.
Was it second annual second?
Probably so. Yeah, I think that was
First
the
one
second.
was
We're on like year 6 now.
right.
Yeah.
I've been to almost every one of them.
Hell yeah.
Almost. But yeah, that's when I see him, and I was like, "You good?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Struggle's one of the most motivated, strongest motherfuckers I know, man. Like, even through all that shit that he was facing, and, you'd be at home with some regular shit to worry about, and then I'd talk to Struggle on the phone, and he'd bring your own spirits up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He
Nah,
just had
dude.
that spirit. He was never like concerned, worried. I mean,
I
he had all
mean-
the kids and
Yeah, man. He came home and hit the ground running. Like, proud of him, man. I mean, he's doing really big shit, especially to come from, just for someone who wasn't in prison all that time.
right.
Let alone that. But to add that to the equation, yeah, he's killing it, man.
And to come from where he came from, the West Side Nations. Was it
Exactly.
Nation? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like he was just coming off as that average, rap white boy.
Right, but he found his lane, evolved.
How do you find that?
Fuck, I don't
Was
know,
it
man.
you?
Probably no, hell no. No,
You were
no.
a part of it regardless.
Well, no, I mean, I was involved at a certain point, and like I said, we're still family, man. That's my brother, but I mean, he found his own lane, and I believe he had plenty of time to figure that out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm glad he did. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
working for him.
Yeah, definitely working.
I'm not
He's killing
I'm not the biggest fan of it,
it. Right,
but as his, I respect that.
right.
Do that. Do your thing.
Hell yeah.
But so you did. So he's locked up. What other artists did you have? I remember you had.
Man, I ran through a roster, man. A bunch of people who you've never heard of and never will hear of. You know what I mean?
In Nashville?
Don't take direction
or everywhere.
and serve
Atlanta?
cheeseburgers now. But yeah, here.
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
If that's what you're into.
Yeah.
But let me think. I managed Cub Cook Up for a while. Artist named Pretty Shy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a bunch of other people that there's no reason to even mention, but I've worked with a lot of different artists, man, and it's all part of everybody's growing process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it helped me grow, helped them grow. So
All rap? Some rock?
yeah, man, all rap, really, all rap.
Yeah.
I've done like I've worked with country artists and rock and roll artists on music videos,
Mm-hmm.
but never managed them. I come from a hip hop background, so that was kind of my thing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's what you liked.
That's what I like. I don't think doesn't really make sense to get behind something that you don't actually enjoy it in some sense
Mm-hmm.
or respect. Like, some artists might not like the music as much, but you recognize the talent and are impressed by the motivation. You know what I mean? But you got to have something that helps fuel your own ambition to work with someone. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, I couldn't just work with someone who just cuz, you know what
Just
I'm saying?
did opera.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like if there's nothing that I can relate to.
There's only so much you could do for someone who sings opera before
Right,
you don't
exactly.
understand. You're like, I really don't have a passion
I
for
don't know
this.
what the fuck to do with
Yeah,
it.
like, but if you put a rap in this after that first part, like, that would be dope. And they're just like, you know what? Get this guy out of here.
Yeah, get him out of here. That's crazy.
So how'd you get around to the Wolf? To
Well,
managing and doing all the cool things you do for Yelawolf.
We were back to the photographer I was managing in that shoot at the. Would you say it was a cannery?
Cannery or Mercy? I think it's
One
the
of the
same building.
I think
It's
it's
on
the
the
same
8th.
building.
On
Yeah.
8th.
It was that middle one that I know there was a huge room up top, but it was the middle room. So anyway, we went back there, and man, over a period of time, I kept in touch with Wolf, and we talk every couple months or something. You know what I mean? And I was still doing my studio thing, and a time came. He moved here. He ended up moving here, and we'd just hang out like we used to. You know what I mean? We were just friends. We weren't working together in any capacity. And
Minus the graffiti.
minus the
Or you
well,
guys
back
still,
in the day.
were you guys
nah.
still going out doing graffiti?
No, we stopped that. No time for it. And we were at the car wash one day, and I told him, I was like, I mean, he knew I had the studio. He knew I was trying to work in that lane. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that was the extent of that. But we were at the car wash one day, and I said, hey, man, I want to work with you. I always believed in the saying, sweep the parking lot till you own the building. You know what I mean? So it's like, I told him I want to work with you. I know you're not hiring. I know you don't plan on paying nobody nothing. I'm down to start for free.
Mm-hmm.
Just give me anything to do. You know what I mean? I don't care what it is. If it's rearranging a storage unit, give me any job. Call me every day. If you need me to come take the trash out, help move, I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm down to work. You know what I mean? You don't have to pay me nothing till you see fit.
Right.
And it's like, all right, cool. So started just, having me do random shit, filming shit, whatever. Just, literally random shit. You know what I'm saying? And but that kept me around them and working with them every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, I was trying to leave alone the street shit because I got arrested and became a felon at that point. And so I started painting houses and painting industrial commercial stuff. That was like my little business at the time to try to make the transition out of the bullshit. And so sometimes I couldn't go wherever he was going or whatever because I'd be busy on a job. And I remember very clearly one job I was on, I was painting like a karate dojo or some shit. And he called me and was like, yo, we got to go to Detroit. And I was like, man, when? And he told me, and I was like, I can't go. I got this job. I'm not going to be done for such and such. And Wolf told me that day, he said, man, get rid of this shit. Leave the job. You don't got to paint no more. I was like, huh? Wow. He was like, just quit that shit. Come with me. I got you. And shit, from that day forward, man, we figured out, negotiated some pay and that made sense for everybody. And shit, from that day forward, I've been working with him ever since.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I literally sold my paint van, sold all my ladders. I had the whole get up, you know what I'm saying? The sprayers.
Yeah, if you had to do industrial
Right.
houses, you had to have the real.
Yeah, and he
What was the business called?
Top Coat Painting.
Top Coat?
Yeah.
Does someone own Top Coat now?
Hell no, Top Coat's
It died.
fucking.
It died with it.
Yeah, I still get calls from advertisers and shit wanting me to fucking pay them. I'm like, I
You
tell them,
I'm
swear
in
to God.
Australia.
No, I'll tell him like, look, this is Lieutenant Jackson with the fraud division of the Metro Police Unit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I know what you're doing. Yeah, they don't call back. Pretty funny.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
That's so paint, and then you did Yelawolf. So you guys are touring everywhere. You were back then. What was his?
For a while,
At what
wasn't.
point was this in his like career?
I'm trying to think.
Radioactive.
Before Love Story, probably in between, like probably a little bit after Radioactive,
Okay.
but it was before Love Story. Yeah, it was in that period, like in between those, and yeah, man, we just started working, and like I said, I was down for whatever, you know what I mean. I literally come mow the lawn if I needed to, you know what I'm saying, like
For sure.
and work my way up to where I'm at now, tour managing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, man, it's pretty inspiring.
So his team was pretty small enough that you didn't have to handle like 40 other people on the tour.
What
or,
you
like-
mean now?
Well, then he
Well,
was
then I
just-
wasn't tour managing.
Oh,
Then
you
I
were
was,
just hanging
I wasn't
out.
even touring. No, I mean I was just doing shit in Nashville. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Or like driving the car when he go out of state. I'd drive. I'd be a driver. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean literally like if something was broken, I'd fix it. You know what I'm saying? Or like straight up sweep the parking lot till you own the building. Like I was doing shit
Wow.
that was like, man, I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's not some degrading shit, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go beg for change on the corner or nothing. But
Right.
other than that, like anything that needed to be done, I was down to do it. You know
Right.
what I mean?
And he trusted you,
Hell yeah.
and that made him feel cool, which has got to be amazing, for someone who, like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of people around you. When you start making noise and money,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people around you start looking a little shady. You
Oh,
notice
exactly.
everyone's looking at it to the side of your eye, like,
Right.
what is he getting, and how can I have some?
Right.
Right? But you
Exactly.
weren't like that. You were like, let me do whatever I got to do,
Yeah.
so that we can continue to work.
Well, I wanted to leave the bullshit alone. You know what I'm saying?
So you're looking for an outlet.
Yeah, I mean, my outlet was the paint company, but that wasn't what my heart wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, it
course.
wasn't creative enough. It wasn't.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't creative at all.
Because you're a real creative dude. Like, all you do is create.
Appreciate that. man.
Honestly, like everything you do, you're just doing something,
Right.
and you're just your persona, your soul is just a beautiful soul. Like I can tell that for
likewise,
some
man. Thank
reason,
you. That's what's
you're,
up.
you're shining, even
Appreciate
behind the
that, brother.
glasses.
Yeah. So I mean, that was pretty much how that worked out. But it was. I'll tell you one more thing. It was interesting at a certain point. The straw that broke the camel's back with me is this is the point when I was doing that, and I'm thinking, right. I remember I was with Struggle the night I found out, but I was trying to kind of get out of the hustling shit and the growing shit and this and that. And my family, I kind of had everybody fooled. Like, yeah, I'm not doing it, but I'm still doing it a little bit.
Yeah,
And then what happened was then I got arrested and was facing a little bit of time, like 7 years or some shit. Ended up pretty much beating that, getting probation and a felony. And then meanwhile, I'm going to visit Struggle when he first got locked up. Like, he hasn't yet been moved to the penitentiary. So it was this reality of going to court, facing this shit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
While visiting my friend who's facing 40 years. And then right after all that, there was a home invasion at my family's house, and they shot my pops. And, I mean, he ended up living through it, but they shot him in the
Right.
chest. Opposite side of his heart. Went in, in the chest, out the back. And I remember being in the hospital with him and holding his hand, and he was unconscious.
Uh-huh.
And I remember him telling me, once he finally came to, because I was like, man, this dude, at one point, the police detectives or whatever were almost pointing the finger at me. You know what I mean? Like wondering if I had some crazy shit to do with it.
Right.
And I remember when he finally came to, it was very obvious that I didn't have nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? But all he wanted me to do was leave the bullshit alone. That's all he asked me. He was like, "Look, man, I'm here. I'm alive, but leave this shit alone for real." You know?
Wow.
And from that moment on, man, I went completely broke. Like, left it alone. Stone cold. Was like, all right, you know,
Wow.
and just left it alone. And yeah, it was crazy. But that was, if that wouldn't have happened, the combination of all those things
Sure.
were what made it a reality to me. Like, man, all right, this is a wake up call. You know what I mean?
And that's what did it. That's crazy.
I left it alone completely. Won't fuck with it in any capacity. You know what I mean? Just because I've grown past that.
Right.
You know?
So all the stuff you do now is just, it's your business.
On top of the table.
It's your personal stuff.
Yeah.
It's just what you see right here is what I got.
Yeah, exactly.
It's no longer no more grow houses.
Yeah, I can eat whatever I got. You know
No
what
more grow houses that smell like paint.
Right, there you go.
That's weird because a graffiti dude became a house painter. That's kind of funny.
Well, that was because my homie, like, was painting houses at the time or some shit, and that's all we could think, man. It's like, let's buy this fucking roller and this thing and, you know, start painting.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So what what was the last one last tour you did with Yelawolf?
Shit, we just got back from Australia, man, like a week ago.
Really? Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you. When you went to Egypt just recently, tell me about that, because I seen your pictures on Instagram, because that's how we stay in contact.
Right.
And I was like, yo, look at this shit.
Well,
Because I know there's something about you. I don't know your spiritualness, what you believe in or whatever, but something always comes off you. To me, this is what I can see.
Right.
I can see something from you.
Appreciate that, man.
You know, I guess maybe because of the necklace you had on when I first met you in the Phoenix room.
That's
I put all
so
that
crazy. Yeah. It was, my spiritual thing is like, man, I'm big into mushrooms, like I told you.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, the whole Egypt thing, I know a lot of people that they want to go to Egypt, and, you know, but it was a dream of mine. It was a dream of my grandmother's.
Mm-hmm.
She always wanted to go. When I would walk around the house when I was a kid, she had these big busts of like Nefertiti and King Tut, and it's always been a part of my surroundings. And eventually, man, one day I was like, man, I really want to go. Fuck it, I'm going. And booked a flight. You know what I mean?
And this was recently.
This is like, shit, I don't know. It was it was September.
Mm-hmm.
It was in September. And so part of the story that's pretty interesting is my dog had passed away, had him cremated. And my grandmother, when she was alive, I bought her these earrings, took her to this museum, and the earrings were the Ankh, that symbol right there.
Okay.
And it was these little Ankh earrings we bought her, whatever. And when she passed away, my aunt gave them back to me. I forgot about it. It's like 15 years ago. So when I was going to Egypt, she never got to go. She got sick when my grandfather was going to take her. So my mom reminded me, she was like, hey, you got those earrings? And I was like, damn, I'm sorry, not earrings. I'd put one of the earrings in her hand in her casket when she passed. And then, you know, they closed her in the casket. So she's buried with one of the Ankh earrings. You know, Ankh is like, stands for eternal life.
Okay.
And she's buried with one of those. The other one my mom had kept for me, otherwise I'd have lost it. Make a long story short, I took that with me to Egypt and put it in a crack in the wall at the Sphinx. And then the ashes from the dog I sprinkled inside the Great Pyramid. Like, went into the Great Pyramid in the Grand Gallery and sprinkled that on my way back down. So yeah, Egypt that was one of the craziest things in the world. Was, first of all, trying to find a crack in the Great Pyramid. You know how they say that they built it so solid that you can't even really stick a piece of paper in between the blocks?
Yeah, I've heard.
They're not lying. I couldn't find somewhere to put this little tiny Ankh earring to just... I wanted to put it somewhere where it would be lost forever.
Right.
You know, where it couldn't fall out or get found or anything like that. So the only place I ended up finding was a wonderful place, but it was a crack in the wall at the Sphinx. And shit, that was dope, man. But when I was about to leave, we did the whole riding camels around the pyramids.
I've seen that.
Did it for like 3 hours. It was amazing, man. And then went inside the Great Pyramid. Like, I mean, it was hard to breathe in there. One, it was hot, and two, it was unbelievable. You know what I mean? And then when I was about to leave, just looped around, went and looked at the Sphinx, and then I met this old man named Nasir, and he took me. He was like, hey, man, you look like it's interesting what he said. He said, you've been here before. And I said, nah, man, it's my first time. I've never been here. And this old dude said, no, you've been here before. He said, in another lifetime. And I was like, all right, dude, whatever. And then he was like, you seem like you're more interested in a tourist. I said, well, I'm definitely more interested in a tourist. He said, come with me. Walked around, like the Sphinx is here. Walked around the Sphinx, and there's like this, not really a fence, but like almost like a cattle fence.
Uh-huh.
Crossed over that, and this dude starts taking me down in tombs. We went to where Akhenaten, who was King Tut's father, we went down into the temple where they meditate and worship Akhenaten. And he didn't notice, but I got Akhenaten tattooed on my arm.
Oh, wow.
And I had a crystal with me, like a quartz crystal, and I was shining it in the sunlight.
Charging it up?
I mean, I don't really know enough about it, you know what I mean, to say I was charging up or not charging up, but I know that I find interest in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I enjoy fucking with it. So anyway, he took me to Akhenaten's temple. It wasn't his tomb, because I don't believe they ever found a body. And there was quartz crystal in the wall, and he was showing me that. Then he took me down into an actual tomb, and I can't remember who it was. It was a queen. Well, some queen. I don't want to misquote it and say the wrong person. But he took me down there, and he asked to see my crystal. And he put it in my hand. He closed my hand, and he grabbed my hand with his hand. And he said some form of prayer in Arabic.
Right.
Right. And basically blessed it while standing in the tomb at the sarcophagus underground behind the Great Pyramid in a place where you can't go.
It's not a tourist spot.
You can't buy a ticket to this place.
That's weird.
And dude, it was unbelievable, man. There was one point when I was afraid if maybe I might get robbed, because it's just me and this old man down in this tomb. And I'm talking about, shit in the way. It's not really safe to go down the thing. I was like, but my curiosity, I'm going to have to fight my way out.
He was getting the best of you. He was getting the best of you.
I'm not going to turn around from this, you know what I mean? So
who was he? Was he just
They said when I got outside, because I actually had to catch an Uber from the pyramid, right? They got Ubers in Egypt, but
like
anyway.
a camel Uber? A Cooper?
The police were on camels, believe it or not. One
Really?
of the camels farted, and the police wasn't trying to laugh. I was laughing.
Oh, that's so terrible.
And then finally he started chuckling. Everybody was standing there looking at me. But so yeah, when I was waiting on the Uber, everybody, like all the people, people work there. It's almost like a national park.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's like people who close the gate when it's done, and whatever. So this dude, everywhere we went, all the other guys treated him like an OG, and they'd be like, hey, they couldn't really talk to me a whole lot because they didn't speak good English, but they'd point at him and be like, like he's,
Wow.
like dude was obviously looked very highly upon.
Yeah.
And they said that he held the record for being able to climb the Great Pyramid the fastest.
He climbed it to the top?
Yeah, he could climb it in 7 minutes.
Wow.
His son could do it in 9.
That's crazy. Did you try it?
No, I wasn't allowed to. They fucking had these damn guards. I definitely would have.
So they have guards. It's more a tourist thing than just an open thing. I've never been
The
there.
part that we were at was definitely a tourist thing, but when he took me around back, and I'm talking about, man, like, and I can't post this shit online. I have videos of it, but he made me promise not to post the shit online. He was just like, what I mean? Obviously I could, but I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? I gave him my word.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, man, it was unbelievable, crazy shit that I've never even heard. They say, I've always heard people say that there's no hieroglyphics at the Great Pyramid. I seen some hieroglyphics in these tombs back behind it. Yeah, it was crazy, man.
Did you? What did you feel? Did you feel something? Did you do something? Did you pull the Aleister Crowley in there and summon anything in there? And
man,
come back?
was.
Are you back in Nashville right now with the power?
Yeah. There was this one stone, right? That was, I think it was Ramsey the Third. I think it was something to do with him. It was something to do with something they built for him. But the old dude told me, he said, I want you to go over there and put your hands on the stone and close your eyes and breathe. And he said, sometimes people have visions. And he said, you may feel something. Man, I didn't have any visions right then, but I swear to God, I had the craziest feeling like I was high or something on the back of my neck and back.
Really?
Yeah, like I felt some energy.
Felt something?
Man, it was crazy. Yeah, and it freaked me out a little bit because I was like, man, this is real. Like, this dude told me it was going to be some shit.
And it was. That's so weird.
Yeah.
So you didn't call it anybody, huh?
Nah, I didn't. I don't think I channeled anything, brought anything back. What?
Well, I was hoping he did. I invited you out here. I was like, what does he got?
I might just be faking the whole shit. You know what I mean?
something.
Maybe I did bring something back.
Maybe you did. Are we really here?
Right. Oh shit,
That's cool. How was Australia?
man! Australia was cool.
The fires are going on right now.
Yeah, we didn't. It was crazy because the smoke had made it to New Zealand,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like driving through a cloud of cigarette smoke or something. Like it was pretty gross.
It was that
but,
thick.
I mean, it was like yellow. Like you were. I've never seen anything like it. Like you were flying through like orange smoke, and it had made its way to New Zealand, and yeah, man, we didn't see any fires ourselves because
Right.
it was more in the bush, and wolf shows were more like in the cities.
Okay.
So luckily, hopefully they're got them under control and shit. But we saw a lot of smoke, and in Sydney and I believe Melbourne, the smoke was pretty thick. It was actually hard to breathe.
Really?
Like gave you
You could
crazy
feel it?
headache. Yeah,
Really? That's crazy.
yeah. But Australia was dope, man. People were really cool. There was a whole lot of love out there. They really love Yelawolf out there.
Now, when you guys really, they
Hell
they
yeah.
know Wolf.
I
Like
mean, dude, they were losing their mind. Yeah,
he kind of gets it everywhere he goes, though, right?
absolutely. But yeah, overseas,
It's different, obviously. I've never been overseas.
New Zealand too. New Zealand. I mean, we did a festival, and he had 30,000 people out there going crazy. It was amazing. Bay Dreams.
What's it like to be like on tour with him and Clever? Is anyone else with you guys? It's just you guys.
Me, Clever Wolf, and our lighting design, Keegan.
Mhm.
I mean, shit, man. We're all like,
You guys are
we're
just
all
like brothers,
family,
right?
man. Yeah,
It's
so
just
it's
like a family.
I mean, it's almost
getaway.
weird when I'm not on the road with them. You know what I mean? It's like that's when shit's smooth sailing. It's a lot of fun. It's super busy, but
Do you fear sometimes? Like he's on his own. Like you've been around him so much, and you take care of like so many things day to day. Are you like, oh shit, he's by himself? Because I've seen some things that
you gotta give him some space sometimes.
Yeah, okay, that
Yeah.
makes. I don't not to mean like you're his babysitter and
No,
he
no,
can't
no.
handle
Wolf
his own
is-
shit. But every now and then you'll see something in Wolf flipping out on
Yeah.
something or somewhere, and you're just like, maybe Ounze wasn't there that day. Like, do you keep him grounded? You seem
Nah,
like
I
someone.
mean-
You seem like the core of a lot of shit you do. You know what I mean?
That's interesting, man.
Yeah, you seem like the core. Not saying that everyone gravitates towards you, but,
Right.
anything you put your whatever into, it seems like you're the core. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got the basis of all
Right.
that. That's what I think.
Wolf is a beast. The only reason, I mean, it helps, like if people are asking for too many pictures or anybody will get stressed out. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it helps to have someone to intervene and, here, I'll take the picture for you. All right, cool. We're out of here. You know what I mean? Where he don't got to be the bad guy or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, anybody under pressure like that, at some point you're going to lose your fucking mind,
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I mean, I have a hard enough time just hanging out with the kids all day.
I'm trying to run and keep up with him. He runs like 5 miles a day.
I seen is he starting to run again?
He's been running for shit. I don't even know how long now. He's ran over 300 miles.
Wow.
I got an app. I got the app on my phone too. I ran like 32 miles. But
Oh, you ran too?
yeah, I mean, I run too, but yeah, not. I mean, I'll split it between working out and running or whatever. But
He's not going to do the Forrest Gump thing, is he? He's just going to
Oh,
take
man,
off one day and start running
I
across
think
country.
he's gonna do a marathon soon.
Is he?
Yeah, somebody else just ran across the country. Did you hear about that?
Uh-uh.
I believe it was a rapper. So I think they did it. I think their father passed away. I wish I could remember who it was. I think their father passed away. Like in the name of him, they decided to walk or run across, and then like met up with a couple celebrities to join them on the walk.
Sure.
I wish I knew who it was. I can't think of it.
I'll look it up.
Yeah,
That's crazy. So is it you guys going to take off walking?
you just take off walking.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
I guess it's the same thing as touring, just slower. Because you guys tour all over the country, all over
Right.
the world.
Right.
World, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys been everywhere.
Man, shit. We're going to Russia in February. Paris, fucking man, all over the place. Ukraine, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they treat you guys like the Americans, or do they treat you like, hey, like Yellow's in town?
Other countries, man, it's funny how they look at America, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they definitely like. It seems like some other places really got their shit together. Not saying we don't, but
We got our business together.
we got our business together. Yeah, but
We don't have our ethics together.
no. I mean, Internationally, man, they love Wolf, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What's the attraction? What was the attraction for you? Just because you guys were friends and you just happened to rap?
What are you talking about?
Like, why do people gravitate towards this dude? This dude is, I mean, he's a dope artist.
Right.
Special human being.
Wolf is talented, and I mean, he'll take a napkin and have like a lightning bolt idea and create some shit real quick and then forget about it himself. I mean, dude is just artistic and creative in every single thing he does. If he's running down the street, something about it super creative and different than the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's the real definition of an artist, man. And I just, I've always felt strong about working with him because I believe in him. You know what I mean? I believe in the artistry. Obviously, as we all know, there's a lot of people who rap who aren't necessarily artists. You know what I mean?
Right.
But no, Wolf is a well-rounded, real life artist.
And he's shown that because when he first come out, people are just like, another white dude rapping.
Right. No, he's absolutely proved that, man, and shown that. And I mean, for a long time, and he still does it here and there now, but for like a year maybe, he was designing every merch piece we had.
At the store? Or just period, like on
online?
the road?
I mean, like, all those dope pieces that we had capsules of last year.
Uh-huh.
Like, we damn near try to get them to stop, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, let's get these designers back and let them do it. You know what I mean? Let's focus on. But nah, Wolf is always drawing something or creating something or always making some shit or creating.
Do you get to
something.
do any of that?
What's that?
Do you get to put your 2 cents in on the
yeah,
design and everything?
I mean, yeah, whenever it's kind of like, we're bleaching shirts and, everybody's got their hands in it. You know what I mean?
The whole crew? Is it a big crew or is it pretty small?
I mean, as far as the business, it's really just me, Wolf, our partner J Dot, who's his manager.
I remember J Dot, yeah.
Kenny, who's our head of sales.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs a whole warehouse and runs all our merchandising and everything. And our friend John Newport.
That's it.
That's it.
Keep
I mean,
it
we have
small.
employees at the shop, and it's a spider web that reaches out, but that's the core. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That shop, do you have anything to do with that shop opening up?
I pretty much stay away from the shop unless I have to, I love the shop, but I'm saying, like, I've got my hands full with so many other things.
I can't imagine.
But the shop is just like, I like to go to the shop and not have any responsibilities. You know what I mean?
Right.
When we had the tattoo side in there, I was over that. Like, I had to help find the tattoo artists and, get them situated and, I had a piece in that. But once we decided to get that out of there.
Oh, you don't do tattoos anymore?
Just barbershop.
Really?
Retail.
I remember y'all had some problems with a couple of artists or something. I was getting that, my drama fill on Instagram watching that. Like, who is this dude?
Nah, that shit was crazy, man. Well, that was the problem with tattoo artists. I mean, all the tattoo artists we could get along with and were dope were obviously already in a great situation and weren't able to move to Nashville.
Right.
So it just was drama, man, for whatever reason. It was just drama. I mean, I don't know if that's across the board with every tattoo artist all the time.
Well, they're a little weird.
Yeah.
Tattoo artists they're always a little. I mean, come on, they're sitting there all day, shit's vibrating in their hand, they're smelling the ointment, and you got a tattoo.
It's a hell of a way to put it. Yeah.
You got a tattoo either the same thing over and over, or like dumb shit.
Right.
I want a unicorn on my ass with an Alabama shirt, and you know what I mean. People are like, "Come on, man, that's stupid."
Picking shit off the wall.
Yeah. Tattoos are weird, man. You got a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
None of them look like off the wall flash pieces.
No, I haven't picked anything off the wall.
What is all that?
This has to do with my fucking psychoactive, interest in psychoactive plants and shit. It's an astronaut coming out of a campfire. I mean, you see what that is. That's Chichen Itza.
You were there. You went there. I remember.
Yeah.
How was that? Is that you in the spaceship?
Yeah, man, it's just me getting abducted. No, I'm fucking
man,
around.
you don't take me nowhere. You get abducted, you're going
right,
pyramids. Come on, man.
Yeah, no, we were there, man. I went there for my second time like a month ago in December.
Yeah.
And then we also went to, what the fuck is this shit called? The Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon. Which is right outside of Mexico City, like 2 hours. So we went there it's like the Avenue of the Dead. It's called Teotihuacan. And we went there I think it was like, man, it was probably about a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about the psychedelics. That whole. Are you into everything or just shrooms? Because I noticed you take an interest in nature.
Yeah, man, I'm
past couple of years.
Absolutely. I'm like, the thing about mushrooms is I got into enjoying them by accident. Back when I used to hustle or whatever and deal with the weed, I bought a bunch of shrooms, thinking, not knowing anything about them, thinking, shit, all right, this is a way to make some money. You know what I mean? And then I realized people buy shrooms one time. You know what I mean?
And they never do it again.
And I had like a couple
It's not
pounds.
like repetitive.
Nah, you don't have like people hooked on shrooms. You know what I mean? So anyway, I ended up eating like probably 1.25 pounds of shrooms. Not at one time, obviously, like over a period.
Yeah,
know
you
what
would
I
have been gone.
sharing with all my friends and everything. And it's crazy how this worked out. And then you get to a point sometimes with psychedelics where your adult mind gets to be a little too heavy to be able to handle it. You know what I mean? And you have what they like to call a bad trip, which is really just a challenging trip. Maybe you need to face some shit, so that's why you're going through that. Because younger people don't usually have a problem like that. But, so anyway, I left it alone. Was like, all right, man, unfortunately I can't trip. The person I used to trip with all the time ended up killing himself. So I had a fear of like, man, I'm going to have this weird thing if a person,
that's rough.
They killed himself. And it was like, that's who I tripped with every single time. I was like, man, I can't do this shit. And then it's ironic. I didn't even think about this till right now, but it was my birthday one year, and me, Wolf, and Jelly Roll went to the Crab Shack, right?
Yeah.
And Jelly, I think he just had some shrooms on him or something. And he was like, I don't think he brought them for me for my birthday, but he had them. Was like, yo, happy birthday. Tossed me some shrooms. I was like, oh, cool, thanks, man. And I put them in my nightstand. A couple years go by, and I was moving. Never fucked with them. I was moving. And found them. I was like, fuck, man, I'm going to eat these. So I ate them. They worked. And then, yeah, man, I started getting more into it. Did ayahuasca. I've done the DMT stuff. You know, ayahuasca you do with a shaman.
Right.
But the shrooms, man, they help with a lot of things and help with like, I mean, it's very widely studied right now specifically. Like Johns Hopkins University is studying a lot about mushrooms and the benefits. But I mean, it can really change who you are. Like I was going through a period where I was drinking too much alcohol, and it wouldn't be so bad, but I would tend to get arrested and pick fights, and it was just always some dumb shit when I was getting drunk.
You were that dude.
I was that guy, and I could never really shake it. It wasn't like I didn't drink every day, but when
only
I drank,
when you tipped is when you became that dude.
But I tipped every time.
No,
I was that guy. You know what I mean? It was always, and everybody around me is getting in fights. So anyway, I kind of intended to, man, I want to take these, and my intention is to learn how to leave this alcohol alone, but not like an addict. You know, I don't want to do like, I had to go to court-ordered AA meetings, and they wanted me to stand up and say, hey, I'm such and such, I'm an addict. I was like, I'm not going to do it, man, because that's not what I am. So anyway, and that's against what they believe in, and I respect what they believe in. But so anyway, one day I ate like a 1/2 ounce of mushrooms, which is pretty big dose.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and man, ever since then, I don't really drink. I don't like the taste. I don't, but weird. I can go to the bar.
Yeah.
I can enjoy time with people at the bar. It's amazing, man. You can quit smoking cigarettes. You can change anything.
It rewires your entire process.
It like rewires your neurotransmitters, and I mean, yeah, it can completely change who you are in a positive way. Like, put it this way, my mom tells me you haven't tripped in a while, have you? Like, you're about due for some mushrooms.
She can tell.
She knows. It's like, it was like, man, you were the best ever in life when you were doing the mushrooms every 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, it's medicine.
I've never done mushrooms. I've never drank alcohol. I've never had
Drank alcohol?
Never had a taste of alcohol.
That's amazing, dude. Damn, you don't know too many people like that.
I can't tell you what it tastes like. I can tell you what it smells like. It doesn't smell good.
Right.
Yeah.
And what made you not want to drink?
I just never got around to doing it.
That's fucking awesome.
It's all around me. Alcoholics and partiers. It's all around me. Strong. I never touched it.
It's fucking awesome, dude. Well, if you ever want to do mushrooms, I'll take you to the creek.
Oh, the creek?
The creek, man.
The creek water?
Yeah, go down to the creek. Sit down there, talk to the dragonflies.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I might take you up on that. I'm a little nervous to see what happens. I'm always in a good place in my mind.
Right.
I'm always, you know what I mean? I surround myself with my family, and that's it, pretty much. A couple
Right.
friends. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's it. So I'm always in a good place. I'm always learning, reading. You know, my spiritual awakenings come multiple all the time. You know what I mean? So,
what are you reading?
right now I'm reading Ram Dass.
That's dope.
I got turned on to Ram Dass through Pete Holmes.
And he just passed away.
He just passed away. On the day, do you know Pete Holmes?
I don't.
Comedian.
So.
He had a show on HBO called Crashing, and he does touring and everything. He's just a comedian, but he's got a beautiful story. Beautiful story. I read his book, Sex, God, Love.
Mm-hmm.
I ordered his book that day on December 22nd. I learned it, then I started getting interesting, and what he was talking about, his guru was Ram Dass. Ram Dass learned. His guru was the Maharaji. So on the day, the December 22nd is when I found that book and read it. 4 days later, I started looking. I was like, I'm going to look up some Ram Dass. Found out Ram Dass died.
And what day did he die?
The 22nd. The same day that book.
You got that book?
Yeah, same day I read the book. The same day I found interest. Same day, you know, so it kind of like, there's something connected to that. You know,
Absolutely.
whatever it is. And I really don't care to tell anybody, like it's my business, and I'm just telling you, you know what I mean?
Right.
And the things that I'm feeling through that, like I just haven't felt comfortable enough to talk to anyone about yet. It's my thing. It's my business. You know what I mean?
That's dope, man.
Yeah,
That's
mind
real
your own
dope.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, you know, I can just kind of awaken myself like that. I'm sure I can go farther with psychedelics or like something.
Well, you don't
like
necessarily need, like, to me, I've found a place, like, it's, and this is gonna sound completely fucking whacked out to anybody who's listening, but
Yeah.
it seems like imagine if you've never heard of electricity. You come from the woods, right? You come out of a cave, and you know, all you know is there's a socket there, and I give you a guitar string, and you stick it in there, and you get shocked, and you're like, oh shit, fuck that electricity shit. I don't want nothing to do with it.
And you never mess with it.
But you don't know that you could power the whole city. You get what I'm saying? If you utilize it properly. That to me is like psychedelics. Like, I feel like once you graduate to a certain level, you're at the end of the street in the cul-de-sac grilling out with the neighborhood OG. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's hard to explain, but it's like you become more familiar with, and you call me crazy, that's fine, but you can have a relationship with a plant spirit.
Really?
Believe it or not. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's some, like, crazy, man. I don't want to get too deep.
Oh no, yeah, I don't know.
I need to leave it alone. I was like, oh shit. I see myself in that camera and was like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I'm here to talk about Zilla, not this.
Yeah.
Well, this is you, so it's all good. You know what I mean?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I've never had a need to find that. Like I've always had not answers, but I could always follow my questions and live through that pretty well. Like I don't, you know, the past and the future are in your mind. I'm only in the present,
That's fucking
and it's
amazing.
really hard to do.
Yeah, no, it is. You meditate?
I do
Yeah,
every
yeah.
morning. I get up 4:00, so I can spend extra time. I spend extra time with myself. Like I'm that cool, right? No, so I do that. I get up early. You know what I mean? I go to bed early. I get up early. Meditate. Yeah, I do. I try to meditate and try to work that out. You know, before the kids get up, I got to take care of them because I take care of you know, my wife and the kids. We're both at the house, and you know, she works. I homeschool the kids, and that's my day routine every day.
What's up?
I refuse to let my kids into a public school
That's dope.
because of what public school did nothing for me.
Right.
Yeah, so I get to teach them. So first part of the day, I get to teach them, you know, the basics for the requirements for school, and then the rest of the time, I get to teach them the things that I'm into.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to allow them to become a creative human being outside of the fucking cookie cutter.
The choice. If they don't want to become that person, they don't have to. But
Well, they'll probably become whatever they're supposed to become outside of being molded by the public school.
Right. But they need to have a choice. I wasn't given that choice. I was raised a certain way, and I was taught to think that way.
Right.
But I came out of that early. I don't know what made me come out of that super early.
Right.
But, you know, I'm blessed to have done that, and blessed with the gift to observe.
Right.
So I've seen what you did. I haven't experienced it myself.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think there's something to be said, too, about, like how you were saying school wasn't for you and you didn't really do the homework and this and that. I was the same way. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And it seems like a lot of people who I know who are creative fucked up in school. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
who have found a way outside of a 9 to 5 or outside of a, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Didn't really fit into the whole public school thing.
Yeah. I think it was because I wasn't I was nurtured with the fact of like sports, fun, and do this and do that. You know what I mean? But like as a creative side, I don't think I was really nurtured for that. My cousins, the people are around, like I hung out with, like my friends, my cousins, my first cousins, and my second cousins. And cousins on my dad's side and my mom's side. They're like family, like brothers. I didn't have any brothers. You know what I mean? I had two sisters. So I just wanted to do what they wanted to do. They wanted to play ball. I wanted to play ball. They wanted to do cars. I wanted to do cars. You know what I mean? I was always, I'm the youngest one of the family.
Right.
And, well, second to youngest. Who cares? But I just want to do what I see.
Right.
You know what I mean? And for some reason, maybe around 7 or 8, that all changed. I started questioning stuff and trying to figure out what I want to do. You know what I mean?
Right.
But nothing ever made sense. I just I was raised the same way most people are raised. I just chose to look at it differently at a certain time.
Right.
I got hit in the head with a bat when I was young.
For real?
It wasn't like a major skull crack. It just made like a mark on my head. But I think maybe that triggered, maybe it opened something. That was in elementary school. I remember that.
It very well could. You know, them people, like, a lot of people get hit in the head and become a genius.
Yeah, and I've never told anyone that I think that's the reason why. But, I mean, you kind of put 2 and 2 together.
Right.
You know, I'm a normal kid, do whatever. And then I get hit. And then it's the first time I ever kind of remember blacking out. I've never blacked out since. I haven't thrown up in about 20 years.
For
I haven't
real?
thrown up. No, actually, longer than that. Since I was 5. I'm 41.
You never thrown up?
I haven't thrown up since I was 5. I remember throwing up one time when I was 5 years old. I had some bad pizza. I think I was sick of the stomach. I rolled over onto the carpet.
I
rolled over to the carpet. I threw up. I was 5 years old. I remember that because I can remember the smell. It's weird. But never since. I've never thrown up.
What the fuck? Never even been sick? No food poisoning, nothing?
No. I mean, it goes, when I get sick, I have bad shrimp one time with the wife, and hers, she started throwing up. Mine goes the other way.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Sense. So that's how your body's wired.
I think so. But I'm like, I get sick, or like I'll be on not a roller coaster, but like I get like motion sickness in a plane or something. And I'm like, man, what if I throw up? I don't know how to throw up. I got no clue. I have no idea how to throw up.
All right. With that being said, when you take a lot of mushrooms, right? Throwing up is part of the process.
See, I can't do that.
So
how am I going to do that?
But here's the thing, though. It's thought of by shamans and shit like that. It's thought of as a purge. Not getting sick. It's thought of as getting well. Like it's you know what I mean? It's like it's a positive thing. It's a good thing.
Right.
It's not like, oh, you're over there on heroin throwing up. No, it's like you're cleansing your body of energies and things that you need to get out.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? But shit, if you're shitting them out, you're doing just the same. You know
Okay, so I might be safe.
yeah. Right,
and that's what Ram Dass says a lot. I keep repeating them because that's just what I'm reading right now. After that, but he talks about that. In Harvard, him and Leary, they were doing these all studies and stuff, and they were LSD in everyone, and he's done them shrooms and all that shit. So I'm just.
Ram Dass was big into. I mean, he's one of the poster child for psychedelics.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you're reading that.
Yeah.
Like, really I need to check that out because I don't know. I only know about him what I've heard, based around Leary and, you know what I mean, these other guys. Yeah. But I don't know enough about him.
Super interesting. Super
really?
Interesting. Yeah. Check him out.
I know he went to like India for a while, right? Or something.
He did. He went and met the Maharaj and didn't believe shit. He was, a Western culture, of course. He went there and not believing it. People over there touching the Maharaj, touching his feet, just want to be around him. And he was like, man, these people are really weird. Like, so he took some acid. Right. So the whole time he's taking acid, right? And so he goes to the Maharaj and he looks at him and he stares at him for a minute and he stares back. And then he starts telling him about how his mom passed. Like he'd never met.
He was telling the Maharaji
The Maharaji started telling Ram
Okay.
Dass about how his mom passed and all his pain. And it just blew him away. And he said the next time that he was able to meet the Maharaji, all he wanted to do was touch his feet.
Wow. That's crazy.
Super strong. And he also sat down with him, and the day he was gathering up at like a meeting, they were like, okay, you can come see him now, because it's like a spiritual journey or whatever. And he had a bunch of LSD with him or some pills. I think they were white lightnings or something. What they call, I don't know the whole drug thing, But I guess Ramdas knew before he told him. He's like, "You got the medicine?" And he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Give it to me." And he
Who did the Maharaj?
The Maharaj. He said,
Wanted
"Yeah."
some acid?
Yeah. He said, "Give it to me," and he gave it to him. He took it. He was like, he gave him like 900 milligrams of some sort of LSD. Yeah. And then he gave him some more, and he ended up taking like a whole bunch, and it did not affect the Maharaj at all.
It didn't even affect him.
No, that's the spiritual place he was in. He was in such a spiritual place, it did not affect him.
That's deep.
Yeah, I mean, but if you look into it and read it, I tell them, I don't tell it as well as they do, you know.
No,
but it's great teachings for real. And you know, Pete Holmes, that dude is super connected with his spirituality also.
Really?
Yeah, look him up, read his book.
I'm gonna check that book out. I'm reading one right now called "How to Change Your Mind," and it's about the present, obviously dealing with me as psychedelics, but it's written by a really reputable guy. I can't remember his name. I want to say somebody Pollen or something. Anyways, it's like a best-selling book about psychedelics right now. The studies they're doing and what it does for depression and PTSD.
Right.
And you know what they're using it for medicinally. It's pretty sick book too. Very interesting.
You're feeling all that?
Hell yeah.
That's dope. Well, I don't want keep it too long, man. I'm sure you got a bunch of wolf business.
I got to talk on the phone and shit.
Yeah, you got it back to the phone. Yeah. Nah, I appreciate you coming out, man.
I'm glad to be here, man.
I'm glad to get to know you a little better.
Yeah, likewise.
As much as you want to talk about.
Psychedelics.
I'm sure we can go hours and hours.
Yeah,
I don't want to keep it too long. You know what I mean?
That's what's up, man.
But that's cool. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Anything?
Appreciate you.
You got any good stories?
Oh, man.
One story that sticks out. Since you tour manage with Yelawolf.
Shit, I'm trying to think of something. If you're good at questions, man. If you had a question, I'd be able to tell a story. I don't know. Off the top of my head,
worst night ever with Yelawolf on tour. Don't paint him bad. Wolf.
No. Shit.
It's not me. I'm just asking a question.
Man, there's really not too many bad nights, man. I mean, the only time I've had a bad night is when I got to argue with a promoter behind the stage while he's performing about him breaking the first mic and wondering if he's going to break the second. I mean, I've probably argued with promoters or, venue people behind the stage while he's performing 4 or 5 times. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I remember one night in New York specifically when their sound was shit. It was all the way their fault, not Wolf's. And they didn't have the right side fills that we demand on our rider. So it was all the way their fault. And when they fuck up the sound like that, man, he's serious about his sound. So he'll start breaking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was kicking monitors off the stage and smashed, he smashed 3 mics. But he ended up smashing, he was 2 in. And then the guy had me out back of the thing and was like, I'm about to call the police. I don't want to, but they're going to start rioting if I do. And if he stops the show, they're going to riot. I was like, look, man, if you don't chill the fuck out, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's not going to be a riot. Let the man finish the show. If he breaks 5 mics, we'll pay for him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just relax. Calm down.
Yeah, nah. I mean, it's all good nights on tour, man.
Yeah.
I don't really have any bad nights.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
So glad.
No, it's all good all the time. It's just been a couple times when, their sound will suck and he'll break some shit and it gets a little stressful. Other than that, it's all good.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, man.
No problem. What's your website?
I got a website. I don't have nobody to update it for me right now, but it's edwardcrow.com.
Okay, Edward. And
it's just photography and video.
Just photography?
Yeah.
Oh, you got those beautiful black and whites on there. You do great.
Appreciate it, man.
And what about like Instagram? People want to follow you. Watch the cool shit I watch. You don't post much.
I don't post much.
But when you post, it's cool shit. And that's the reason why I hit you up when you were in Egypt. And I was like, man, hey, when you get back, can we talk? And you're like, I got you.
That's what's up, man. Yeah. What the fuck is I changed it recently. It's edward.crowe, CROWE. So EDWARD.CROWE.
Okay.
Yep.
Again, I appreciate it.
Instagram.
So good to see you. Hope it's not another 10 years before we talk.
Man, no, man. We gotta work on something, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Come out on one of these shoots or something.